Hey everyone, it's me, Pastor Carolyn. It is a very bright winter day, and you can see maybe behind me my porch, my deck outside is covered in snow, and the sun is just brilliantly lighting up our entire deck with the snow. You go outside and you just have to squint, kind of like you come out of a movie theater in the middle of the afternoon, especially like in summer. You open those doors and it's so bright in your eyes, you can't see, and you wonder, what the heck is going on? Where am I? Well, I'm going to read a story from the Spark Story Bible today, and it's about Jesus, and it's called the Transfiguration. And this coming Sunday, February 14th, is not just Valentine's Day, but in the church year, we are also celebrating the Transfiguration of Jesus, where he goes up a mountain with some of his friends, his disciples, and he's like brilliantly, like outside even brighter, just brilliant white. And then some really strange things begin to happen, and his friends, the disciples, are really confused about what's going on. And so I'm going to read this to you, and then we're going to wonder what the story might be about. All right, the Transfiguration in the Spark Story Bible, page number, what is this? 358 in the edition I'm using. Peter, James, and John were very excited. They were climbing a mountain with Jesus. Higher and higher they climbed, right to the top. Then they noticed something different about Jesus. Jesus' face and clothes were bright and shiny, like the sun. Moses and the prophet Elijah were standing with Jesus, talking about God's promise to save the world. Peter couldn't believe his eyes, and suddenly a cloud covered the mountain. You could see the disciples covering their eyes, even the little caterpillar. Very bright day. A voice said, "This is my son, listen to him." The voice was God. Peter, James, and John covered their faces. Then Jesus touched them. They peeked up, and everything was the same as it was before, even Jesus. And here we can see when they were so brilliantly lit up, looks to be like maybe Jesus is in the middle. And we've got some other brightly illumined people, Elijah and Moses, a great prophet, and Moses who led the people from slavery into freedom. On the way back down the mountain, Jesus, Peter, James, and John talked about God's promise. But they didn't tell anyone else about what happened on the mountain for a long time. And here's our little question, too. Look at a cloud in the sky. Well, today we can't find one, but imagine hearing God's voice coming from it. What is God saying to you? It's a good question. It's a really good question. Sometimes we wonder what God is saying. And something I've noticed a lot is our lives are really busy, and we have a lot of different voices talking to us all day long. And something I noticed in that Transfiguration story in the Spark Bible is that God didn't shout. He just said to Peter, James, and John, the disciples who were with Jesus on that mountain, and with Elijah and Moses that appeared, he just said, listen to Jesus. And a lot of times we're so busy listening to other things, we don't hear Jesus. We don't hear God's voice. And God is speaking to us. So one thing we need to do is to stop and breathe and listen. Listen for God's voice. Now, the Sunday before Lent is always the Transfiguration Sunday, the story I just read you. And then Lent is that time of repenting, turning to God, and really slowing down. And that's what we're going to be doing during these 40 days of Lent, is taking our cue from this mountaintop experience, But going into the 40 days of Lent where we stop and we sit and breathe, Cosmo, that means you too got to be quiet. He's going to have to be quiet too. He's not always such a great listener. He likes to talk. And me too. So we're going to stop, breathe, and listen. And we're going to listen for the voice of God and listen together and have some quiet time together on our Wednesday evenings in our worship time. And we're going to pray and we're going to listen. So I invite you to consider all the voices that are around us and just the blessing that it is to stop, breathe, and listen. All right, church, I'll see you a little bit later. Have a good day.
Playing